And welcome to the United Stand. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a big decision around Alexis Sanchez, which we will be talking about tonight, as well as Eric Bailly, and as well as a few other things as well. But I want to just talk, first of all, about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager, because I think that, look, the flip-flop, the yo-yo, anything else that spins from one side to other, the scales, and Elton John. Well, at the end of the day, Pochettino lost today for Spurs and he got a little bit angry with Mike Dean, and there are some Manchester United fans saying, I don't want Pochettino because he lacks class. To be honest with you, I would challenge anybody to stand in front of Mike Dean with him telling you, go away, go away, go away. Would you walk away? I won't walk away. Irritating man. I would stick there shouting at him because he's incompetent at his job. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be getting the Manchester United job. That's the opinion of me. It may not be the opinion of you, but it is. But I was thinking about this today because obviously it started up again, the old flip-flop thing. I want Pochettino, I want Ole, I want Pochettino, I want Ole. I just want Ole. I just want Ole. That's as simple as it gets. And I think that something occurred to me today. Look, Ole's biggest weakness is the unknown. As United fans, we don't know. He's managed Mulder and Cardiff, that's it. He's never managed the top club before. The bubble might burst and he might be the next Di Matteo. His weakness, I suppose, is his inexperience. But then I thought, you know what? With Mourinho, with Van Gaal, with Moyes, you bring managers in from exterior who have no affiliation with Manchester United. Their only affiliation is to their own ego, and they don't get what Manchester United's all about. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, he's done amazingly, very, very well from the start, but he's also got an obsession with Manchester United. His whole career is based around Manchester United as a footballer. He loves Manchester United. He is basically a fan in charge of Manchester United. And his whole career as Manchester United manager, no matter how long it lasts, will be based on that obsession. And I think he will, like some people at work, they work 9 till 5, and then some people are in at 8 o'clock and they'll work till 9 o'clock at night. He is going to be that person. He is obsessed with being successful. He is obsessed with proving people wrong. And he is obsessed with not failing, because failure means hindering and tarnishing his reputation. And I think that is a very, very powerful thing that maybe Pochettino wouldn't have. Mourinho certainly didn't have. What Mourinho had is, here's an opportunity that matches my massive ego. Here I am, Mr. Wikipedia page, best manager in the world, according to me. I'm going to go and manage Manchester United, biggest club in the world. It's the perfect marriage. Together we'll be great again. Whereas I think with Ole, he's got no Wikipedia page that's of note. He's just in awe of this thing, Manchester United, and he understands it from A to Z. He knows what it's all about. And I think that is something that we will not get off anybody else. I think he will be obsessed with being successful, and also his background to being successful, his blueprints, his roadmap is that of Sir Alex Ferguson. So I suppose that's another reason. I was just thinking about it today. Anyway, let's talk about Alexis Sanchez and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I think also, please do smash a like on the video, actually. We've got a new overlay from Drawty yet again. You'll see things happening all around you. Some new, some old. Fantastic work. But I just want to say that in relation to the Alexis Sanchez thing, somebody said, have you not spoken about this before? So this is a bit of a news story that's coming out today, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a decision that if Martial and Lingard are anywhere near fit, then Alexis Sanchez will be on the bench for the game tomorrow. To some, that would not be a shock, but actually, let me open up your eyes, there is still a proportion of Manchester United fans that think Alexis Sanchez is God's gift and deserves to start the game tomorrow. I think that, to be honest with you, Alexis Sanchez should not start the game tomorrow. I think Alexis Sanchez is a good bench option with 20 minutes to go. As we saw against Chelsea, he'll come on, he'll run around, he'll be a bit of a terrier. He'll like that because he likes dogs, and that's great. And I like that Alexis Sanchez, who can come on and give us a bit of energy in the last 20 minutes. But then you move to the next step, and it's like, hold on a minute. That in principle, that's great. Let's play Lingard, Martial and Rashford, and let's get Alexis Sanchez to come and run about a bit for the last 20 minutes when we need to hold on to a game. But the important factor is this is Alexis Sanchez. A couple of years ago, arguably one of the best players in the Premier League. This is Alexis Sanchez, best paid player in the league. This is Alexis Sanchez. He's not going to be happy with that. And so I think that, there is something quite significant about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying you're on the bench for the Liverpool game again, because Lingard and Martial and Rashford are going to start. I think it lends to an avenue that I suppose is uncertain. It's not well lit. It's a road, and it's not got neighbourhood watch, and it's got no street lights, and we don't know what's going to happen. And that's the road we're going down with Alexis Sanchez. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, quite rightly, has nailed his flag to the mast and said, I personally don't think you're better than my front three. But it's an interesting road to go down to, because I don't think Alexis Sanchez is particularly happy in England, full stop. I think he'd rather be back in Chile with his dogs. But if he is going to be in England, all right, being the best paid player in the Premier League, sit there and take your wage. But to be fair to Alexis Sanchez, I don't think he's that sort of player. I don't think he's Charles Nzobia or anyone like that who famously has sat there and just earned a wage. I think Alexis Sanchez wants to play football. So I think there is going to be a point where a solution needs to be found. And I personally don't see that point is going to be Alexis Sanchez in the team, because Lingard, Martial and Rashford give us a lot more, and unless there's injuries, then where would they fit in? But I know that there are a lot of fanboys. I know there are a lot of fangirls as well for Alexis Sanchez, and you are hoping he turns it around, as do I. But I think that we need to accept that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, if you are concerned about whether he is going to be Manchester United manager or not, there was a couple of other stories in the press today about how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reprimanded 2 senior players in his first few days as Manchester United boss. He called a meeting and 2 of them were late, and he basically showed them up in front of the rest of the meeting. Well done, and nobody's ever been late since. I don't get this, and I don't think a lot of you like it, and I think a lot of United fans get this now, but there are still some people who think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the silent assassin, the smiling killer, whatever. He, imagine that being murdered by somebody who's actually smiling at you. I mean, it's still going to hurt, isn't it? But at the end of the day, he is somebody who categorically, Luke Shaw said it, I think Paul Pogba said it, he don't mess about. He is tough where he needs to be tough. And you know what? I think anybody who can read people knows that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is like that. I think there's a definite harsh side to him, which is very, very important. And Alexis Sanchez is feeling that. And I think there's a debate to be had about whether Alexis Sanchez has a future at Manchester United. But ultimately, if I'm being totally harsh and blunt, I'd say no. Because I want I like Jesse Lingard, but realistically, I think Lingard's going to be our bench option next season. If we are right in the transfer window next season, I think your midfield 3 will always be Pogba, Herrera and Matic unless we get a replacement in. And your front 3 at the moment is Lingard, Martial and Rashford. And in the summer, I'd be bringing Jadon Sancho in, which would be Sancho, Martial and Rashford. And what a front 3 that would be. And Lingard would go to the bench, and you know what? He'd sit there, he'd do his job, he'd be there, he'd be playing 30 games a season, he loves the club, he gets what it's all about, and he'd do it with a smile on his face. And I think Alexis Sanchez, I can't see how he can do that. And also, I can't see what his future is. He's over 30. But, if he can come... if he came on and scored the winner yesterday, absolutely fantastic. We'd absolutely love that. But we'll have to wait and see. But Ollie's taking control. That's what it says down there. And it's true. And it's good. And if you are... And what I would say, though, is if you do want Pochettino to be boss at Manchester United, still want him to be boss. I think these idiots who are out there saying, he lost to Burnley, let's not have him. I've had enough of this. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit long in the tooth with this, but this flip-flop mentality, which seemed to start off with the Pratt in the hat at Arsenal, I've had enough of it. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting your manager out, but at least base it on some bloody evidence. I mean, Mourinho, we were 2 years in before most people thought, let's get rid of him. Van Gaal, a year and a half. Moyes, minute 1, because he was never the right person. But, you've got Chelsea fans. They're in the final of a cup tournament tomorrow. They're still in the Europa League, and they're still in a fight for top 4. And they're booing substitutions and booing their manager. What the hell's that all about? I think they've had, Mad Marcus messaged me today, they've had 13 managers in 15 years. I want to get back to stability. We were a club that had massive stability with Sir Alex Ferguson, and I want to get back to that. I hate this flip-flop mentality that seems to exist in football at the moment, that you lose one game and it changes. If you want Pochettino to be manager, stick by him. I still stand by what I said last week. I watched Spurs come 0-0 at half-time against Dortmund, and the tactical change he made at half-time was stunning. He's a very, very good manager. He develops youth, he plays good football. He's a very, very good manager, and losing to Burnley doesn't change that. We drew to Burnley at home with Ollie. Does that mean Ollie's shit? No, it doesn't. I want Ollie to be manager because I based it on the facts of the evidence that I've seen before me over the last 2 months. If you want Pochettino, don't flip your mind just because they've bloody lost to Burnley. I can't be doing with those sort of attitudes. I think, base it on a little bit of evidence. just to pick up on something as well, I just want to drop this out there, and I don't want to be right on this, but I've got something on my list here. Sack flex. No, that's the wrong list. Eric Bailly swipe. So I picked up on this on Ole's press conference yesterday, where he said that it's all about fine margins. He was talking about the Liverpool game. It's all about fine margins. If Eric Bailly had been 1 centimetre ahead of Mbappe in the PSG game, Mbappe wouldn't have scored. Now, I knew this would happen. I wish I'd said it yesterday. Some people have twisted this in the media and said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took a swipe at a Manchester United player. And the minute I heard it yesterday, I was like, ooh, that could get twisted, because Mourinho and Van Gaal openly would do that. They would throw anybody under the bus to massage their own ego and deflect blame. But if you know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's not that sort of manager. He isn't that sort of manager to do that. I think he was using that as a fine margin example. I don't personally think he was criticising Eric Bailly to say he was 1 centimetre off. I mean, he was literally using it as an example, as fine margins. But I have said a few times, and we did the video this morning on Koulibaly. If you've not seen that, go to the homepage, give it a watch. It's sort of like the weekly transfer show. We've also got a combined 11 with Flex and a Liverpool fan. But I think Eric Bailly might leave United this summer. I do. Phil Jones is definitely not leaving because he's just got a new contract for 5 years. Don't upset me. Smalling's not leaving. He's had a new contract, just. Lindelof's not going anywhere. You sign Koulibaly or whoever, and you keep Bailly. That's 5 senior centre-backs. And I just feel that Eric Bailly, I don't think Eric Bailly's going to start against Liverpool tomorrow. I think Smalling's going to start. And I think if that happens, and I hope I'm wrong, I hope Bailly does start, I think we're going to move Eric Bailly on. I don't think Solskjaer was outing him about the PSG thing, but I do think there is a lack of trust in Eric Bailly within Manchester United. I've noticed similarities that happen quite a lot where he's not picked in games and you expect him to be started. So just wanted to throw that out there, because if I'm proved right, I'm proved right, but hopefully I'm proved wrong on that one. Just to talk about a little bit about centre-backs, Vidic has been back at Manchester United over the last couple of days, and he's quoted as saying that he'd rather have Phil Jones over Van Dijk or something like that. But basically what he said is that he wouldn't want any of Liverpool's centre-backs over what Manchester United's got. I'm all for a bit of banter. I love a bit of banter, and it's bound to have boiled a bit of Liverpool piss. But the reality is, the bottom line is, he's talking nonsense. There is, let's be honest, Liverpool centre-backs, even that lad Gomez is very, very good, and he's injured at the moment. But Van Dijk's better than anything we've got. I don't like saying that, but he is. So Vidic is wrong, and Vidic is probably my favourite centre-back of the Premier League era. I'd put him ahead of John Terry and Rio Ferdinand. Personal choice, but I absolutely love Vidic. The thing about Vidic was, any ball coming into the box, he didn't just run through players, he'd run through combine harvesters, metal walls, anything. Absolutely dominant in the air, and I love Vidic, but he's wrong about that. He is wrong about that, and I think he's probably winding them up a little bit as well. Van Dijk would walk into our team easily. Make Manchester United great again, says Gustavo Cortez. Thanks for the contribution, pal. Vidic should keep quiet. None of our centre-backs are world-class, says Tyrone Williams. I think he's just winding him up. And you know what? As somebody who is a bit of a wind-up merchant, I can agree with that. Gary Dunscombe says 6 points away from third if we beat Liverpool. The most important thing about the game tomorrow is that we win. The second most important thing is we draw. The thing that can't happen is that we lose. But even if we draw, Arsenal go ahead of us. So I want to win tomorrow. I don't know whether we've got any rugby fans, but I was watching England against Wales, and I really thought England were going to win. I'm English, and they blew it. Well done to Wales, by the way. But I don't want to feel that tomorrow. I don't want to feel that. I mean, it's one thing losing to Liverpool, but the worst thing will be the Arsenal fans jumping on it. I can't do that. So we got a win tomorrow. I'm very excited about it. I'm very nervous about it. As I said last night, I think if David De Gea keeps a clean sheet in this game, he's got 100 Premier League clean sheets. I won't be keeping a clean sheet tonight. I'm shitting myself. I'm joking. But you know what? I am nervous, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Liverpool fans will be nervous. Anyone who says, oh, you're crapping yourself because you're playing us, Liverpool fans feel the same. And the reason they feel the same is because it's a big game. This is a massive game. I can't wait for it. But, you don't leave anything to chance. It's like rolling the dice, isn't it? It's win or bust, and we need to win this game. It doesn't mean that Mohamed Ziyech, I'm not even going to answer that question. I'm sorry, I don't talk about that. No, I'm not answering that question. It's not. It's not. Top four's not gone for us if we lose tomorrow, and the title's not gone for Liverpool if they lose tomorrow. But I think if they do win tomorrow, they've got a firm grip on the title, and I think if we win tomorrow, we've got a firm grip on top four. And look, our ceiling is fourth place at the moment. If we can get third, great, but realistically we're fighting for fourth with Arsenal and Chelsea. If we win tomorrow, that's a massive blow for Chelsea because they're not even playing, and it's a massive blow for Arsenal because they'll look at our next few fixtures and they'll be like, oh, that was the one we wanted to get ahead of them, because we're playing Arsenal in a couple of weeks, and that game in itself, we don't really want to be going there behind them. We will win, says Maxi Divine. I hope we will. I really hope that we do. I can't say any more than that. I just hope that we win it, and I hope that the players turn up. Had says, who's this flex guy? If you never watched the fan cams, disrespect on the name. Mark, Liverpool are due for a loss and it will happen tomorrow. I can feel it, says Aidan Malcolm. You know what? I'm very confident that United are going to get a result out of this game, a win out of this game, but I have to agree with Ollie. It's the same feeling I had for the PSG game, and then you go into the game and it's an eye-opener. But hopefully we've learnt a lot from that. But Liverpool are a good footballing team. And I think with United, we are a good team, but we don't know how good we are at the moment. We all know we've got to invest in that squad. And tomorrow, we're playing against a team that's going for the Premier League title. Is our team good enough to beat a team that's going for the Premier League title? I think we are. We'll find out tomorrow. It's how good this team is. That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. And it's how serious Liverpool are about winning a title. Neil Smith says, I can't wait. I won't sleep tonight. Can't wait for the match tomorrow. I've got a plan. I'm finishing this stream, bottle of whiskey, film, and then just watching things that I like until I drop off, basically. That's how I'm going to go. Make sure you smash a like on the video, everybody. And, I mean, I'm glad you've said this. Hairdryer treatment, Young to pocket Salah. They're not going to be playing against each other. I've heard a few people saying this. Unless Salah plays off the right, they won't play against each other. I think that's a really interesting point, but they're not playing against each other. Salah plays on the right, and Ashley Young's a right back. So Young is against Mane, and it'll be Luke Shaw, hopefully pocketing Salah. I mean, obviously there's going to be some interchangeability, but traditionally, you're right. Ashley Young was playing at left back when he's pocketed Salah in the past, but Young's our right back, Luke Shaw's our left back, so it's Luke Shaw against Salah, and I think that's an interesting dynamic. And Mane, I tell you what, the thing that worries me about Mane is I've seen him a couple of times recently, and he's missed like 2 or 3 really big chances, and I've thought, is he saving them up for us? But it'd be Young, it'd be Shaw on Salah. What's your prediction, Mark? Says Mohamed Sijan. I'm going to stick with 2-1. I'm going to stick 2-1. Manchester United. Yeah. I hope. I mean, I don't want to be doing this show tomorrow night and be like, oh, fuck, I think if we lose tomorrow, and this is the only thing I'm going to say about it, if we lose tomorrow, we've got a challenge. We've got a big challenge ahead of us because we will be behind Arsenal. We'll have handed Liverpool the fucking title. And I hate to swear, but you cannot give Liverpool 6 points and then moan when they win the title. We gave them 3 points at Anfield. We can't give them 3 points tomorrow. But there are lots of permutations. There are fine margins, as Ollie says. And Michael Oliver's the referee. I don't trust him. And those fine margins could be a red card, could be a dodgy penalty, could be an offside given. Who knows? It could be a really tight game. But I hope it's a good game. I hope it is. Watch Blood In, Blood Out, says Taito the Fool. Sure, we'll be fine, says Ben Carvoso. He didn't really say that, but I didn't really read what he really said. It was a bit boring. Before I leave, my prediction is a 4-2 to United, says Pankaj. What you got? Got a better place to be, Pankaj? I think Ollie should try Sanchez striker and have Lingard on the right and Rashford on the left if Martial isn't back, says Amar Shawan. It's interesting that yet again we're another 20 minutes into a show and nobody's mentioned Lukaku starting. I mean, we can have a debate about Alexis Sanchez's future, but Lukaku's future's got to be gone, hasn't it? I mean, I think even Lukaku, mid-20s, prime years, bench of Manchester United, he won't accept that. So he needs to go. He just not fit the style of football that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to play. He doesn't. And that's not to say if he starts tomorrow, I'll concede defeat. I think we can still beat Liverpool if Lukaku starts and we don't have Martial and Lingard. But I hope we've got Martial and Lingard from the start tomorrow. I want to go at them with our best team. Joe 1, would Sancho, Koulibaly and Dembele be good for us? I think that would be the dream ticket summer. I think Dembele, CDM or box-to-box. Sancho on the right-hand side fills a box, and Koulibaly, play with Lindelof. You've got a brilliant world-class centre-back playing with Lindelof, who I think is on track to be a world-class centre-back. So, yeah, I'll have some of that. I mean, Bailly is a little bit of a risk. Darshan's saying that Bailly is a bit of a risk. He is a little bit of a risk. In a game like tomorrow, I mean, you know, Eric Bailly's put a tweet out today of him shoulder barging James Milner, and it's very funny, and everyone's like, yeah, go on, Eric, this, that, and the other. Part of me thought it just highlights the fact that Bailly's a bit reckless. And in a game, you know, what we need tomorrow is we're going to be reckless as fans. We're going to be passionate. We're going to react to everything. We're going to be emotional. The game will be won tomorrow by the people who manage their emotions the best. Yeah, you've got to be up for it. Yes, you've got to fight for the badge, but you can't be reckless, because if you let the occasion get the better of you, you'll dive into tackles that you wouldn't do against Huddersfield at home. You've got to keep your composure. Let Liverpool do that. You know, we've got to keep our composure in this game, because keeping 11 players on the pitch, not picking up yellow cards, very important. And I understand what you're saying, Darshan. You know, Eric Bailly, I would play him tomorrow, a little bit reckless. But having said that, if you play Chris Smalling, I'm terrified. You know, he ripped somebody's shirt in the penalty box. Michael Oliver will be all over that. He'll be looking for Chris Smalling in the penalty box tomorrow. So I wouldn't play Smalling. I think Smalling is going to get a penalty given against him, because anybody who, you know, these referees, like on Monday night when United were playing Chelsea, and who was the ref for that? Kevin Friend, your friend and mine. He's the referee, right? Do you think that Atkinson and Michael Oliver and Mike Dean are all sat at home watching the One Show or repeats of Curry? You know, they're not. They're watching the football match because they are football referees. And they'll be watching it and they'll be going, oh, if I saw that, I'd give a penalty. Oh, I've got Man United versus Liverpool on Sunday. If Smalling's playing, I'll be watching him on a corner. And George Kyle will back me up on this. Chris Smalling's been doing it for years. He grabs people all over, which infuriates me, because Chris Smalling is a bit of a unit and he's well over 6'2". Just go and win the ball. Don't, you know, that's something that bloody Herrera's quite tall. I'm trying to think of somebody small in the team. That's what Ashley Young should be doing, grabbing hold of someone, because he's got no chance of winning a header. But Smalling is a penalty waiting to happen. I like Smalling. He's very, very consistent, but in a game where it could be about fine margins, who knows? Baz1, what do you think of playing a traditional 4-4-2 tomorrow? I think it could work versus Liverpool. I think the traditional 4-4-2 that I read as a 4-4-2, and thanks for the contribution, is 2 up front, you know, York and Cole. I don't think you can do that in the modern game. I think if you want 2 up front, you've got to have 3 in the central midfield area, so you've got to go 5-3-2. 4-4-2, you've got 2 midfielders, 2 forwards. You're going to get swamped in the midfield, so I don't think a traditional 4-4-2 works. I think we've either got to go the way we did against Chelsea, or just go with the 4-3-3 that we normally play. Our midfield will be the difference tomorrow, says Manix SJ. I think the game's going to be won and lost in the midfield, and I think our midfield's better than theirs. I do. I think that Pogba, Herrera and Matic, you know, individually might not be better than any other midfield in the league, but I think the balance I think they supplement each other really well. I think it's almost a B-Tech Real Madrid, prime Real Madrid. If you look at the Kroos, Modric, Casemiro midfield 3, I think there's better midfielders than them in midfield in world football, but I think that the balance that they brought as a 3 made them the best midfield 3 in the world. And I think with United's 3 at the moment, the balance that they have with Matic as the CDM and Herrera as the box-to-box and Pogba with the licence to attack, I think that if they play well, we'll probably win the game tomorrow. Did you hear about the Jussie Smollett story, says Gustavo Cortez? No, I didn't. I'm so angry that we aren't playing Bailly that much. He is our best centre-back, says Sophus Larson. Matic and Martial didn't travel, says Liam Mattison. You do realise we're playing in Manchester. All this don't travel stuff doesn't really matter. This has happened before. So Mark J says they didn't arrive at the Lowry Hotel. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. But don't read anything into that at all. Genuinely don't read anything into that. Matic will be fine. Well, I'm not 100% going to say that, but I wouldn't read anything into that. We've had this so many times. Oh, they're not at the hotel, this, that and the other. I'm sure that Matic will play. And Matic isn't injured anyway, so why wouldn't he play? I did watch the Wales-England game, Duckworth. I did. Lindelof is going to be a top-class player in 4 years' time, says Just Call Me Sean. I think he's a good player now. I don't think we need to wait 4 years. Paul Robinson says Bay for a red card, possibly tomorrow. You know what? Just the final thing about fine margins and referees and everything like that. Michael Oliver. I don't like Michael Oliver as a referee. I don't know what he's like as a person. I've never liked him as a referee because he is the sort of referee that makes it all about him. And as we've been talking all week, Manchester United versus Liverpool. Liverpool fans have said it, we've said it. This is the biggest game in English football and it's got so much on it this time. We've been building it up and building it up and building it up and we're all thinking, will Salah shine? Will Martial or Rashford or Pogba shine? Is De Gea going to be man of the match? All this thing we're talking about. No one's talking about whether the referee's going to screw this up. But Michael Oliver, my problem with him is he always seems to make it about him, or he does it a lot. And that, you know, that worries me because this game, everybody wants to watch it. Everybody's watching it. And Michael Oliver will know that. And that worries me that he might just do something to make it all about him. And I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't. Because I don't want to be sat here tomorrow going, we've lost that game because of Michael Oliver. I don't want that to happen. I don't. Rashford to get sent off for talking back, says Edward Steele. Matic is not suspended tomorrow. This myth has been going on for a long time. He is not suspended tomorrow. He might not be playing tomorrow, I don't know. Apparently he's not at the Lowry Hotel. But again, I don't think that makes a lot of difference. He might be turning up at the Lowry Hotel at 11 o'clock. Who knows? There is always a concern that Martial or Lingard might not be involved tomorrow. Let's not forget, they have been injured. They were ruled out. I fancied them both to be fit. But you know what? Maybe they've trained over the last 2 days and they've gone, it's not worth the risk. Because remember, United have got Palace on Wednesday, Southampton on Saturday, PSG the following game. We've got 4 games in around 10 days. So, yeah, it's important to have Martial back. But if Martial played tomorrow, doesn't play well and injures himself worse, you're better off not playing Martial and just getting him back for Palace. So let's wait and see with it. But I don't start concerning myself about who's at the Lowry based on Manchester Evening News or anybody else. This has happened before. It doesn't always mean anything. Might feeling as manager if Ollie didn't get it, says Manix SJ. No, I wouldn't have him as a manager. I think he's a fantastic assistant manager. I don't think he's a manager. And I think if he was a manager, he would have gone off and been a manager. I think he tried to do it at Hull. I don't think he's a manager. I think he's a brilliant assistant manager. And I think that happens quite a lot. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I am going to go and try and sort of wind myself down with a bit of film and a bit of comedy and, just get through the evening and wake up tomorrow and build it up. We'll be live at around 1:30 for the team news tomorrow. It's a 2:30 UK time kickoff. The watch along is going to be amazing tomorrow. Don't miss it. Get involved. And it's a massive game. I'm not going to build it up any less than it needs to be. And it's massive. Lose it. And we're going to have to take the pain. It's as simple as that. There's no excuses. It's a big game. We've got to go and win it. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. See you tomorrow. Get a good night's rest. It's going to be a big one.